We are back, everybody, on the MMA Report. It is John Pollock with you. Coming up this Saturday night is UFC 216 from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's going to be headlined by an interim lightweight championship fight as Tony Ferguson is going to be meeting the man who joins us now, Kevin Lee, who will be headlining his first UFC pay-per-view. Big fight on Saturday night. Kevin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, my man. How are you?
Doing
getting up and trying to get my day started a little bit.
Yeah, it's, I'm sure, a whirlwind for you this week going in. Does this feel, taking the fight aside, is this a lot more interviews, a lot more press than you've had for any other fight? Does this one feel different in that sense?
Of course. But, I don't shy away from it. I actually have fun with these things. I might have to wake up a little bit earlier, get a little less sleep. But, it don't bother me none. This is what I do. That's why I feel most alive doing the shit. So, it's a little more attention, a little more this and that, but the fight is no different.
With yourself, it really seems that, we have seen what you have been able to do inside of the cage, but it seems that your personality, your being outspoken has really come out in 2017. What flipped the switch in that sense? Because it has garnered a lot of attention and people are very intrigued in this fight. Was there something that kind of set this off, that you realized the value of putting yourself out there and getting people very much invested in seeing Kevin Lee fight?
No, just more people start asking for interviews. That's about it. If you go back and you listen to my interviews back when I was in college, I was still talking the same way. I was talking shit about the dudes at top 10. I think it was Ben Henderson or something like that. That was kind of on the top of the range as I was coming up, and I was talking shit about him too. So that's just kind of what I do. I just I talk shit and then I get into fight. So if you just now it's just a lot more people read it and kind of see, but it ain't been no different and it ain't gonna change.
When you have an opponent like Tony Ferguson, as you look ahead to this fight on Saturday night, do you somewhat feel that this pay-per-view, it's very much on the shoulders of you two? You guys are carrying this pay-per-view. You are in the main event slot. Do you kind of get wrapped up in kind of the business of how the fight is going to do on pay-per-view and look at that? Because that's a very important currency for fighters to have, is what kind of an audience are you going to attract when you're put in these positions?
Oh, for sure. And I make no mistake about it. I'm just getting started too. So this want to be a good kind of base for me to see, because it's going to be me carrying the card. I feel like we all know that. Tony ain't really, Tony was supposed to fight the Khabib, which is the fight that everybody is asking for, and they were co-maining a card, underneath Steven and Woodley. So, I feel like this is my card, it's been my card. So, I don't know. It'll be good base for me to see, and a good number for me to reach above. So, I don't know. I'm kind of interested in it.
I think it's been a credit, I feel, to both of you, that here you have a division where the lightweight champion has been off doing his own thing, and you guys have kept this division rolling. And I think the fact that you're in this main event is obviously evidence of that. The fact that this division is moving on. You guys are keeping people's interest within this division, setting up a lot of interesting fights coming out of that. I think that's already a credit to you guys, the fact that there are times when you have an interim championship and people roll their eyes. I don't sense that for this fight on Saturday at all.
Yeah, I think so too. And I allowed Conor to go over there and make $100 million. So I'm expecting a great a great Christmas gift this year. I'm taking on the real champion. I feel like everybody knows Tony Ferguson has been the toughest fight in this division for a long time. And Conor don't want this fight. Like, Conor hasn't wanted this fight, and I'm doing the hard work for him. I'm doing the heavy lifting, and I'm making a fraction of the money for it too. So I'm expecting a damn good Christmas gift for this. I'm keeping the division rolling. Nobody else wanted to fight Tony Ferguson. You ask anybody, nobody wanted to fight Tony. So people talk about I talked my way into the fight. I said, hell yeah. I said yes when they called. When they called, I said yes. Not only do I have the credentials, but I got the balls to back it up. None of these guys do.
Will you make a plea after Saturday night that if there is any talk of a Conor McGregor-Nate Diaz fight, that you feel that you should be the one that is welcoming Conor McGregor back to the octagon? That should be the fight that comes out of Saturday.
No, I'm saying that I think he should probably take the Diaz fight. I think he got something to prove. I think he got something to prove to me before I give him a shot at the real title. as far as I'm concerned, he lost to Nate twice. He lost to Nate. He's lost 3 of his last 4 fights, really. So, look, I love a good challenge. I love a big challenge. So it's going to be for me who I feel like is the biggest challenge. Is it Conor right now? I mean, if he thinks so, I think that the media and everything behind Conor is going to be the biggest challenge of that fight, more so than his skills and what he brings to the table. I mean, I don't know. I'll see after this. I'll see who I feel like is the number 1 contender. If that's Conor, just because he's walking around with that hunk of metal, maybe. But I don't know. We'll see.
There's a lot of fighters out there. Whenever you ask them about how many fights they want to get in a year, they'll always throw out they want to fight 3 or 4 times. But not a lot of fighters are able to execute that. Throughout your career, that has been your mandate. You have always fought minimum 3 times a year. This is going to be your 3rd fight of the year. That to me is a testament to whatever you are doing in between camps. It's obviously working for yourself that you can turn around and fight that many times a year. Is that just something that has been a challenge for you in terms of getting that many fights in a given year? Because it's rather remarkable the fact you've been doing this year in, year out.
Yeah, it's really, it's not that smart though, because a lot of my manager, he always get on me, he's like, oh, whoa, we shouldn't take this fight because, this guy's real tough and nobody really knows about him. And, I get those a lot. But me, I love a good challenge. So I'm just like, if I see a man out there that I feel like poses a challenge, I'm like, oh yeah, I want that one. And I feel like consistency is the key to this game. So once I take like a couple weeks off, I'm hopping right back in there. I'm always in the gym. I'm always ready to get back in there. So, once somebody comes around and I feel like they're a great challenge, then I take it on. Is it always the smartest? Probably not. It's probably smarter like some of these dudes, like Khabib. Somehow he sits out for 2 years at a time and still gets headlines and still gets his name in the media. People still call him the number 1 contender, and he ain't fought in 2 years. I'm taking the stupid fights. So, I don't know. I just keep doing me. I don't really care what nobody else is doing. I don't care what nobody else is making. I don't care what, how they feeling. I'm just keep on doing me. I'm going to keep on after once I got the belt too.
It's obviously been a very traumatic week in Las Vegas. I mean, that is your second home. I mean, when you've been there for so many years now, can you just give us a sense of what this week has been like as someone that lives in Las Vegas? I can't imagine those that are dealing with everything that happened on Sunday night.
Yeah, when I first heard about it, I was over in LA doing a media tour. It was early in the morning, and it kind of just took my focus the whole day. I didn't want to talk about the fight at all. It's still kind of hard for me to talk about the fight, just because it hits close to home for me. So as I came back, the energy is definitely a lot different here. Even from me, my energy around here is a lot different. It's kind of eerie feeling too. So, but at the end of the day, I got a job to do, and I'm not going to let one coward stop me. And, because it's bigger than just me. It's bigger than just this fight. It really puts things into perspective.